Honda generator, an EU30IS. This is an inverter one. These are really nice, quite quiet, and they have an auto idle function that slows them down when there's no load on them. And this one's naff. So from an auction, obviously, no idea if it works. It was sold as untested, which normally means they know it's broken. It was like this when it arrived. So let's have a little look around it. They're a nice machine. I've used one before. They're electric start, which is obviously not working. Control panel's all here. That one up there is for paralleling the generator to another one. 12-volt output for charging batteries. There's your warning lights. Choke, which feels connected. Can I see if it's connected? Oh, yeah. Okay. Choke's connected. Fuel tap, which is in the off position, so that's nice. Feels free. And the auto speed up, slow down switch is missing. Well, it's smashed. Two 240-volt sockets, and a pull start that I have pulled, and it sounds horrendous. Pretty crap. Fuel cap. Let's have a look in there. That. Okay, looks horrendous. Let's smell it. Smells horrendous. That smells like really old petrol. That's all bent. Okay, fine, we'll pretend we haven't seen that. Come around here. It's got these coming out of it. Now, this is meant to have a battery in it. I'm going to assume it doesn't, and somebody's rigged these up. Firstly, impossible to tell which one's positive and negative, because what on earth does yellow mean? Secondly, this appears to be flat mains cable. I wouldn't mind betting that under there is 2 cores of mains cable. Should we have a look? Yes, 2 cores of mains cable just wrapped around a very bent crocodile clip. So that's atrocious. I have a naff shoulder. I don't really want to keep pull starting it. And I imagine the pull start is like that because it's not been used very much because these are electric start. I'm going to take this cover off. I think the battery's meant to be there. Take this cover off, appears to just be a bunch of nuts, and it slides over that handle. Also, I noticed the handle on the other side has been sawn through, which pretty much only means one thing, but this did come from a legitimate auction house. So I'm thinking that whatever happened to it was quite some time ago. Let's not worry about that because, as I said, it's from a legitimate auction house. I pulled this cover off. It's like a little cover for that, and there's your oil drain. It's got a little rubber chute and the oil filler, which I've not checked. Got oil. Black, didn't look horrendous. Okay, let's take this cover off. We'll see what's inside. What I'd like to do is see if this has even the vaguest ability of working. So what I want to do is try and connect up some jump leads, not those, to where the battery should go, and try and crank it over and spray some easy start in it and just see if it does anything. Because if it doesn't, I might just flog this as an ongoing project and you won't see this video. That was suspiciously loose. Oh dear, there's the absolute nonsense. Oh, fuel tank sounds full. Some connections. Well, there we go. These would have gone on, been the original battery terminals. Someone's just got this crappy wire, put it in there, and then I don't know what's in here because it's so thick. So I'm just going to take this off I'm going to jump it straight onto these. I've also noticed there's that. Oh, does that just go to that? Okay, that just goes to that. Well, that's interesting. That was off. I don't think I did that. I'll plug it back in. What if it's that? Oh, we also have a fuse here, which looks intact, so it's not going to be that. It sounds like it's got fuel in it, which is a bit of a worry because it stinks. But the fuel tap was closed, so here's hoping. Right, take those off and I'll get a jump pack. Well, I have connected this small jump pack. I've connected that bullet connector back on. And we're going to experience this together. I have not turned the key. Ooh. Whoa! I made a sort of buzzing noise and then tried to turn over. Is that good? Well, that seems good. Easy start, I had it. Here it is. Oh, hang on. Take the air filter off. How do you take the air filter off? Actually quite good. That doesn't look that bad. What's the hole? There. Well, that doesn't seem good. It didn't do anything. The choke's not on, so that would have got in there. I normally expect a Honda engine to cough quite quickly. They are, after all, phenomenal. The choke connector fell off. Nothing. Try the pull stuff. That sounds horrible. Well, that sounds terrible. Okay, so we've got nothing. That did not do anything, did it? It coughed once and no more. I can't really see the engine. You can't see in there. I think this time I'm going to strip the covers off. Someone's taken them off before. One of the screws is wrong. Let's strip the covers off and let's just see what we can see. Because for all I know, there's no head on the engine. I actually don't know. Well, that didn't take very long. Quite a few screws, came apart really easily. Just all the screws. I have just noticed something. When I took this cover off, which has still got the pull start attached, this earth wire, which earths part of the block, has snapped off. Now, it's probably not going to make a difference, but it might. So I'll strip that and reattach it. and then we'll see if that makes a difference. There's a possibility that's actually earthing something and there's no spark. I still haven't really got to anything. We've got, there's your engine in the back here, which looks suspiciously GX160 like, and I'm not surprised at that. I kind of figured it would be a GX160 in here. I don't get it wrong, it might be slightly different, but it looks like one. Just heavily modified, with a different cover and no shaft and a bunch of other stuff. So it's not like I could swap it out, but does mean I'll probably understand it. There's the oil alert switch as well. So I'll double check that that's all connected properly. There is evidence people have been in here and this has just vibrated loose. A lot of the cables aren't in their clips and things. It's also got no feet on it, it's just sitting on its bottom. So I'm just gonna have a little check over. I'm gonna reconnect that wire and check the oil alert and just make sure it's connected up. The earth wire first. Well, I just stripped and held the earth wire on there and nothing happened. So it's not made a difference. However, I will now fully repair that by putting a new crimp on it and bolting that to the block, so I'm not going to worry about it, but I thought I'd just try holding it on. No difference. Now let's look for the spark plug. I think it's probably under this cover. I didn't actually think of that, if I'm honest. I did wonder what this was, and it never really occurred to me that it might be to get to serviceable bits. Yeah, there's a spark plug. Oh, okay. Let's take the rubber seal out. There's a spark plug in there. So if I need to do anything with that, I will. Let's see if it's that. What we'll do, see if we're getting a spark. I've shoved a spark plug in it, an old spark plug, and earthed it against that. Let's turn it over, see if we get a spark. I don't know if that came out in the video. There was a nice big fat spark coming on that. So that's not the issue. Okay. That also means I don't need to check the oil alert because the oil alert just cuts the spark. So we've got spark. We don't know if it's the right time. We don't know if we have compression. It sounds like we've got compression, must be said. So I don't need to top the oil up just to get the oil alert to go off. That's not the issue. The issue could still be fueling if there's something convoluted here that's actually stopping the easy start getting in. That would be strange. The other thing is just check the spark plug. I'll whip the spark plug out, see what it looks like, and I'll see if it turns over any faster without the spark plug in. We might have found a problem. I just took the spark plug out, expecting it to be completely uneventful, and this awful piece of gunge came out, and look at that. Completely bridged with goo and rot and icky and oil, and I don't think that engine's in very good condition. Although I suppose this spark plug may just never have been changed. So we're going to pop another one in, and it's an NGKR BPR5EFS. Now I don't know what the EFS is. See if I've got another one. Oh, mind you, what's that one that I just had? Oh. Yeah, no, not even slightly. We have many spark plugs in the box of spark plugs. Careful, careful. There's a spoiler on top of there. Do we have a suitable spark plug? I don't actually want to waste a new one in this because there's a possibility this engine is trashed. I mean, that one's been dropped, but you know. Is that the right plug? That's a taper-seated plug. Is that right? I'm not sure if it's right, you know. That to me looks like that should be a normal plug. So I'm going to stop for a moment. I'm going to look up what plug this needs. because I suspect that was any old piece of just shoved in there. So we'll look at what plug it needs. Let's not assume that that was the right one. Here's the plug that came out of it. Some kind of taper seat BPR 5 EFS with a loose top that someone didn't screw down, and yeah, atrocious. Check the manual, which I got online. It says it should be a BPR 6 ES NGK plug, which I've got. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. So whoever put this in was a twat. That's probably an old car spark plug, and it's probably second hand, which is why it looks so terrible. So I'll have another quick look. I'll just see if I've got a used one of these, only because I don't really want to put a brand new one in there. I'm not feeling good about it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the correct size and shape spark plug. Idiots. So I did put the brand new plug in. Two reasons. One, I didn't realise I had 10 spares. And two, I did actually try and thread this used one in, which I found. We didn't want to go in, and actually the first thread's damaged. So this is going in it's going on the floor over there, and then it's going in the bin. So I put a brand new plug in, and it was actually really tough to get in. It looks like the spark plug goes in at a different angle, I think, to a GX160. I'm not sure. To be fair, it was really awkward, and my tool barely fitted. But anyway, it's in there. So, let's try again. Now we might actually have a spark. Little spray of Easy Start. And try again. Ooh. Well, it ran. Should have just changed the spark plug. Okay. Did any lights come up? Did you see any lights come on? Let's try that again. Well, no lights are coming on. I don't know what that means. Should some lights come on? Let's try starting it and spraying a bit more Easy Start and see if any of these lights, because I think that top one should come on. That looks like a power light. Just feels like it should do something. And next thing then, we need to get this to run properly on petrol really, so I can leave it running and test those, but I don't know if this will work. It's a tester for these, so I don't know if it'll check voltage, but if it does anything, at least we'll know something's happening. Okay, well, it lit up and we had a no earth, but that makes sense because obviously it's a generator, it isn't earthed. So we didn't have a live fault, a neutral fault, a live earth reverse, we had a no earth situation. Rather than for me it works. Maybe the LED doesn't work. Right, I need to get this thing running on petrol. So we need to drain this tank, which, if we look at it, there's a big tank. It's bigger than I thought. We need to drain that. I'm not entirely sure what the supply is. I need to drain that and ideally take the float bowl off and just assume it's all crudded up. So that's going to be that nut and that nut to try and get the air filter off. Maybe that one. It's a bit dark in there. There is one in there. And then undo the nut on the bottom of that and take that off. And then what I'll do is I'll try and drain the fuel while I'm in there. I'll probably suck a load out the top first. Suck it out and then just drain the bottom out. I'm happy to run it in this condition for now. This is kind of just trying to focus. Just kind of just trying to make sure it works before I get too carried away. So we'll see how we go. I apologise for the humming, but it's like 3 degrees in here and I've had to put some heating on, so sorry. I took the fuel bowl off, which is just one bolt in the middle, and look how clean it is. I've never seen one this clean. I've never had anything brand new, so that's pretty what they look like when they're new. I like that. And we've done the spark plug. It ran quite nice on that easy start. Honestly, I'm going to start putting it back together. The thing I will stop with is I'm going to stop when I get to that handle, because that's going to need welding back together and I can't be bothered tonight. So I'm going to drain the tank and put it back together. Just so happen to have a new, genuine Honda filter. I'm going to put that on. I'm not going to change the oil yet until I know it works properly. But I don't really want to put this one back in and run it at all because it's so disgusting. So we'll put a new filter in it. So it's mostly back together. I am missing some bits. There's a screw missing there because that had this in it. I had this horrible random screw in it that I had to take out with the impact driver. That's rubbish. And I also noticed one of the nuts has got the top of it blown out. So I looked at the covers and that's because they all have steel inserts, except that one. And that's all manky, so that one, the steel bolt and the hex on it has pulled through and damaged it. So I need to find a steel insert. I wonder if they come out. No, like a steel top hat insert. And I thought I needed one of these, but now I've looked, there's bolts missing out of that. So I'm going to say that I need 3 of those short bolts. I'd like the same ones if I can find them. I think I've got an old Honda engine sitting in the shed. I'll go and see if I can salvage 3 of those from it, so they're the right Honda ones. So basically this entire machine is bolted together with those short bolts. Very nice to keep it the same. So actually I just re-watched my little clip on the phone that I used to record all this, and I did take 4 bolts out of this. So I can only assume that actually I put bolts back where they were missing before without realising I've done it, probably around here or something. But whatever, I need to go and find 3. Let's go and find 3. I found 2 GX160 pull start cover bolts in a box of old GX160 bits. Let's shove them on. Well, that's it for the covers for now. I need to get a battery for it. Well, no, I need to test it, then get a battery for it. And then I'll sort out the covers. I have sorted out the missing, there was one of these missing. No one's broken, but I'm gonna fix that. I got a flanged nut and a washer, and I'm just gonna put the washer on there to replace that top hat thing. So that should be fine. What I need to do now is pop a bit of fuel in, see whether she runs, and then load test it. If it runs and it produces power, put a load on it and see if it actually works. I also need to get that switch out, I've just remembered, so see if we can pop that out now. So the broken switch did just pop out of the panel, and it is just an on-off switch that shorts those 2 wires out. I went and rummaged in the box of switches and found one that's the right size, but different at the back. I reckon if I just connect across one side, they'll fit. I suspect that will work. It's a tight fit. We'll leave that hanging out and we'll test that. It's got a sort of off and an on, but we won't worry about that. Right, fuel. Try turning the fuel on, see if it leaks. Looks okay. Running, it's got a 3 kilowatt fan heater. I'm going to put it on half setting, see what it does. Well, I'm not the best welder, but I'm pretty happy with that. Still glowing. That'll do nicely. I've got a little X-side battery for it, which I've put in and strapped down. It's slightly wonky because one of the little rubber feet is missing that's meant to hold it up. I might put something under there. And they come with these, which slot in there. Okay, I'll get that back. But you slot the little square nut in, and then you put the bolt through the top of the terminal, and that's how you connect it. So I'll connect that up. I'm going to put that back. Those don't work, but it seems to work overall, so I'm not going to worry. I'm going to put that back together, put that in, put the knobs and switches back on, and we'll button it up and we'll see if it's any good. If it is, I need to work out some feet for it, because it has not got any feet. I got a square of rubber to pop in there under the battery. I just take it back out. I was unhappy that it was rocking, so we'll pop that in there. Well, it's actually been a few months, but I'd like to get this generator off my floor now, or at least off this floor, and it needs some wheels. It doesn't have any feet on it. That's something I realised. If I can tip it over, I'll show you. It's got nothing, and it's just resting on the casing and these little stubs. And that's not good. It's going to damage that, and it's going to damage the floor. You can buy a wheel kit for these, which puts 4 wheels, just straight line wheels, on, but it's like £150. I did go and grab this trolley thing that I made with wheels, but when I picked it up, I found that that wheel had disintegrated. And that was for moving a washing machine. So my plan is I'm going to make a wheel kit for it by screwing some angle iron under here. It'll make sense when I've done it, but there's threaded inserts here and there, and that little stud. So there'll be a piece of angle iron along the bottom, that way and then down. On the other side, that way and down. I'm going to put a piece of 8mm threaded rod through both. Put nuts either side. That'll also help steady the angle iron. Saves me welding an actual frame together because I can't be bothered. And then on those threaded rods that stick out, I found these metal wheels, which, although they've got a plain sort of axle bolt in them, they've got that, which was what was originally in there. Well, they've also got a little, that one's stuck, but they've got a little insert, which if I unstick all of them, they're not all stuck. This one certainly, the insert moves. There you go. That insert will be the axle, and it's slightly longer, so it will pinch between the nuts, and this wheel will run on that little insert. So I'll knock all those inserts out, the ones that are stuck, grease them up, put them back, and I've already checked. That'll sit quite nicely on an 8mm bit of threaded rod. And these are really nice wheels as well. I can't remember what they came off. Salvaged them or something. So we've got there 4 wheels like this. And then you'll just better wheel it around. That's all it needs, and that's basically what the wheel kit does. If you want, it doesn't need casters. It's going to be wheeled to somewhere and left there. So let's get on with that. First, I need to cut some angle iron. I've chosen this thin stuff. I did get some thicker stuff, but honestly, it'd be over-engineered. That's stuff like a tow bar or something. This thin stuff will do. I'll cut 2 bits to length. There'll be the length of the frame there to there. And there's a couple of bits I need to avoid under there, so I'll have to drill out a hole for a bolt head to sit in. Then I need to drill accurately 4 holes for the fixings, and we need to do that twice. I've checked, it does seem to be symmetrical. So once I've done one, I'll just copy it onto the other one. Let's get on with that. I've cut a couple of pieces. You can see I've put some pencil marks on. What I've done is held it up. Like so. And all I've done is mark with the pencil the position of the holes. And then I just need to mark across and then the centre. I'm going to drill the centre of this in those locations. And I will drill slightly bigger than the bolts I need because it's not that accurate. I've done it with a pencil by eye. It's not going to be perfect. So if I make the hole slightly bigger, it'll be a wiggle room. It'll be fine. I've marked the centre of where those holes should be with that-ish. It's a bit rough and ready, just using a pencil. So I'll get and drill that and we'll see how it goes. I've made one to notch out a few bits, I'll show you in a minute. And I'm going to just use it as a template to drill the other one because the 4 main holes are in the same place, and then I'll notch the other one wherever it needs notching. I've made the brackets and I've had to put a hole there and a notch there just with a hole saw. I'll show you why. Get that up. There's a bolt there that needs dealing with, and same just in there. They'll then sit under there. You can see there's a gap because of the shape of the edge of the frame. Yep. So what I'll do is I'll put washers between this and the underside just so that we don't bend the whole thing up when we tighten the bolts in the middle. The other one's effectively a copy. That. And now what I'm going to do is I need to drill a hole that way for the threaded rod to go through, for the wheels to go on. So I'll put these back to back and drill them both at the same time, like that. And I'll drill through both so that we get a nice accurate hole and it's all level. Another problem is this stud is all chewed up. So I'm going to try and use this stud unchewer thing. It's designed to turn the end of threaded rod that you've cut into like a little chamfered edge. Hopefully I'll be able to do something with it. I don't know if it's going to fit. Whether that's taken off enough, I don't know. If not, I'll run a dye over it. So we now have a generator on really pointy skids, bolted on with a bunch of nuts and bolts on the original fixings, with holes in. So I'll get some threaded rod and I'll sling that through and I'll get those wheels sorted. I'll knock these out and I've cleaned them up with a bit of that. I'm going to grease them, refit them. And like I said, these little axle things are slightly longer than the centre bore. So these will get pinched on the threaded rod over there, that way. I can do the bolts up, the nuts up nice and tight, and the wheel will still be able to turn. So I'm going to grease these up now, and then go over and sort the threaded rod out. So I started doing the threaded rod, and something I didn't think of is I want a nut that side, and I want a nut that side, so I have to thread the nut all the way down. I could measure and cut and put it on from that end, but realistically I want to line up one side, put a wheel on, lock the nut, put a nut there, put a wheel on, put a nut on, chop the threaded rod, make it easier. So I put a stud extractor on a drill, and I'm going to hold on to that with, I've run out of hands, and then run the drill and do that. I'm just going to wedge the phone. was actually very effective. Right, I'll get on and slip that on that side. No, put a nut on there. So that's all locked off. Put that on. Put a nut on. Replicate that there, and then there, and then there. That's one side done, and I put some washers on there. And then I put a nut on there, and I actually pushed the nut out slightly so it splayed these ever so slightly apart to give it a bit of tension in there, just to really brace these. And then I realised that actually I couldn't move it anymore. And now I'm sitting here doing this, watching YouTube videos. See you in a minute. Well, that took a long time because after you watched me put that one on, I realised I had to put that one on. What a twat. Right, that's actually not bad. I am a bit worried about just 8mm bar with this weight on it, but we'll see how it stands up. I've also made a bit of a mistake. I put the hole in a sort of arbitrary location so that it looked roughly like the kit that you can buy right on the edge. But actually, that corner there barely sits inside the wheel. And what I'm worried about is that when I load that into, say, a van, I put it there, I lift it, I wheel it, I rake that right across the floor. So I have to do it tomorrow. It's almost 10 o'clock at night now. It's raining and horrible out there, but I don't want to wake the neighbours up. I'll grab the grinder, I'll chop that off, and I'll also just chop a little notch off of there, so there's no chance of accidentally digging that into something, because that would make me sad. There we go. Lopped off the little bits. Cut the threaded rod off, and rolls really nice. Good use for those metal wheels, I thought. I've noticed it's maybe bowing slightly upwards with the weight, just because they're sticking out and they are trying to bend like that. But I don't really see there's much I can do about that. It's as good as it's going to get. I can't be bothered to strengthen the frame. I can't be bothered to find wheels with bigger axles. It does the job. It's not going to collapse, is it? I'm pretty happy. Mind you, if I lift it up, yeah, nothing happens. That's fine. What I might need to do is, I think actually I need to move those nuts in and then tighten those on slightly. I think I've gone the wrong way. I've pushed them apart slightly, not thinking about the way the forces were going to work. So actually I think I'll grab a spanner, I'll undo that one, the lock nut, and just tighten that up and see if that straightens it out. Give me a second. That was the problem. I was an idiot. I just need to tighten this quite literally. As you tighten it, you can see it all start to straighten up. There it goes. And we just do the lock nut up. And then tighten that one. Perfect, that's much better. And now I can move it around. I know they're not casters, but it's no effort to just move one end of the generator, wheel it around like a wheelbarrow if you have to. Pretty good, I'm happy with that. That was a nice cheap inverter generator. I'm going to keep that. I'm not going to bother putting it on the load bank because we tried it with that fan heater. The only real issue I found with it was these lights, warning lights don't do anything. I did take that panel off and have a look. That module got a bunch of wires run into it and it's all potted and you can't see anything, so I'll have to get another one. I'm not really that bothered. It doesn't seem to be affecting the way it works, so I'll just leave it. Oh yeah. Ooh, silly me, I didn't check the 12-volt output, so I've actually filmed the end of this video and then realised that I hadn't tested that. I just totally forgot, and I didn't even have a cable, so quick eBay up of a really cheap knockoff cable. See if it fits. It does, but the generator rolls away. Hold on. I needed two hands. My wheels were too good and it tried to roll off. So I did check the manual. It's just for charging batteries. So I have a car battery here. And what I want to do is see if it's working. So I've rigged up a meter to it. So this is just under 12.6 volts, this battery. So pop the positive on. Well, that's silly, isn't it? Why are they so... There we go. There we go. Let's see if it starts. So fuel on, choke on. It does say if you're going to use the charger, it has to run at full speed. So take off the auto speed control. I think I probably pulled out a bit much. Maybe I've not. Yeah, we got 13.7, so that's charging. Excellent. That's very good. They still don't work. Not bothered. Maybe I'll look for a new module. Nice. Excellent. Oh, I'm really happy with that. Brilliant. Not quiet as well. What I'll do is I'll turn the fuel off so that it empties the carb out and then we're not having a problem with the carb gunging up. So thank you very much for watching my video on the Honda generator. Yeah, have a subscribe to the channel so you see what other videos I'm doing. Don't forget the thumbs up button under the videos, really helps out. And hopefully I'll see you for the next one where I'll be fixing something.